Hello, friends. This is a Lovely Yarn podcast, and my name is Amber. I am so happy to be here with you guys today. I am just enjoying my knitting. I am having a major case of cast-on-itis, and I want to share some of those cast-ons with you. I think it's the springtime. It's definitely not spring here yet. But it's the anticipation of its arrival. It is the beginning of March. I live in Western Pennsylvania. So we've had a rough winter this year, rougher than it has been in the last several years. But I'm feeling the notes of spring coming, and it's definitely impacting my crafting, which it does every year because I think I just wake up from my winter slumber. So today I'm going to talk about my new cast-ons, a little bit about my plans, and I'm just really excited to be here with you all today to share with you and hopefully offer up some inspiration for your knitting and crafting plans. Before I dive into those projects though, I just want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video. I've had the privilege to work with Craftsy this year, and so I wanted to take a moment to thank them and show you guys a little bit about how I'm benefiting from my premium membership with Craftsy right now. Today's video is sponsored by Craftsy, and I want to give them a huge thank you for supporting my channel. If you love getting creative, Craftsy is the perfect place for you. It's an amazing online community packed with over 2,000 classes in more than 20 categories, from knitting, crochet, sewing, to painting, cake decorating, and so much more. Their classes are designed with easy-to-follow steps and are taught by experienced instructors, so no matter your skill level, there's always something new to learn. Plus, their class catalog is always growing with fresh and exciting content. For my fellow knitters, Craftsy has a fantastic selection of classes covering everything from knitting your first sock to intricate color work, cable knitting, and even sweater construction. Right now, I'm taking a class on Steeking with Kyle Kaneki. Yes, I'm actually cutting my knitting. Kyle walks through all the do's and don'ts, showing how to properly create, prepare, and cut steeks, both using hand sewn and crocheted techniques, all while making the cutest little zippered bag. And here's the best part. Craftsy is offering an incredible deal. The first 1,000 viewers who join using my link will get a full year of premium membership for just $1.49. To grab this special offer, simply click the link in the description box or scan the QR code on your screen. So if you've been wanting to expand your creative skills, now is the perfect time to dive in, and Craftsy is the perfect place to start. Thanks again to Craftsy for sponsoring this video. Happy crafting! Okay, so let's get into the knitting details. I want to just mention that my sweater is not hand knit. This is actually a store-bought sweater. I feel like every time I wear this, someone asks me if I knit it. I would actually love to knit a sweater like this because unfortunately, this is a synthetic material sweater. I bought this years ago before the perimenopausal season of my life. And now I find that I do not tolerate synthetics hardly at all. They make me, my body can't ventilate appropriately. So I end up getting really hot, but I love these colors. This is a happy sweater for me, except that it does make me feel a little bit warm. Okay, so I have one finished object for you. It is the wait, hold on. So in the knit group, so my friend Jody of Flower Hill Fleeces, I talk about her a lot. She and I were talking, we're like, we need a knit night. We need to have a knit group. So we informally started one and we had it a couple weeks ago. And I took this project with me and we were kind of showing each other what we were knitting. And I said, I'm knitting this hood, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know if it's Jose, Josie, I can't figure out how to pronounce this. And so we kind of figured out together that it is I believe, I don't know the exact country, but like more of a Scandinavian designer. And so my friends at Knit Night told me, well, you can look that up on Google Translate and it can tell you how to pronounce it. And so I think it was the Josa, so the E hasn't like a sound, the Josa hood. And this is a pattern by Norgard. It looks nothing like the hood I showed you last episode that I had actually in progress. So as I said, I'm knitting this for my daughter, Lily. She has curly hair and she has a lot of it. So she does not like to wear hats, like a fitted hat, because it smushes her curls and it just doesn't, she doesn't like that. What I showed you last time was the same pattern, but I had started knitting it in this natural color. And this yarn is Kelbourne Woolens Scout. This is a 100% wool and it's in the natural color. So I was knitting this and I began to question the depth of the hood because I had knit it longer than what. Okay, so this pattern gives schematics, which I really appreciate. So it told me how long the top of the hood should be. So it also told me how many rows. Now my row gauge was not matching the gauge of the pattern. And so instead of looking at the row count, I went by the schematic. And so I knit this 23, I think it was 23 centimeters. I can't remember, it's been a while. And I'm not very good at metrics anymore. But when I had Lily try it on, because I was questioning whether or not it was too big, it was way too big. And not only that, but she put this on and this color made her look sickly. Now, the reason this color was chosen in the first place is because I told her to go through my yarn stash and to find a yarn that she did not find scratchy because she's very sensitive to wool, and also one that she liked the color. Now I have a decent sized yarn stash, but it's not like I have a humongous yarn stash, and I try to work from my stash rather than buy new, although I will buy new if it's necessary. But I was trying to start out by just using what I had. So she picked this out because she thought it would be a nice neutral color to go with her winter coat and whatever else she would decide to wear. But when she put it on, she really did look sickly, and we had a good laugh, and I was like, girl, that is not the yarn for you. This is not the yarn for me to use for this project. So I ripped it out and I left it because I wanted to show you what it looked like how big this top part of the hood. And if I put it on myself, you'll see she looked, like this is, I mean, this would probably be a better color on me than on Lily. I'm definitely cool toned. Lily is warm toned. And this color just made her look really washed out. So I did not have any other yarn in my stash that Lily could tolerate the feel of that was in the correct yardage. But I did have this really beautiful yarn from Old Wire Road Fiber Co. Ashley, unfortunately, does not dye yarn anymore, but I had this Merino DK, 2 skeins of it that I had bought to make a scarf and never made. It has 231 yards and I needed way per skein, and I needed I think around 700 for the hood. So I was only going to have around 460, but I thought I'm going to try it anyway because this color looked fantastic on Lily. And I think you can maybe see how much shorter, because I just went by row instead of by the schematic this time. And I think you can probably see how much shorter this is compared to the last one I showed you. This is already blocked. It is completely done. Now, this is actually not like the original pattern because I ran out of yarn and I tried desperately to find yarn so that I could make it to pattern. I messaged Ashley to see if she had any just lying around from her dyeing days. She did not. So she put a story on Instagram asking her followers, do any of you have this yarn that you'd be willing to part with? Nothing came out of that. I asked on my stories on Instagram, nothing came of that. I got onto Ravelry and I looked in the stash, and there was one person that had this yarn in a fingering weight. So it wasn't the DK, but I thought that's okay. It's going to be a little bit different, but I can hold it double. It may not have like the exact tone because it's going to be on a different yarn. I think it was like a fingering weight of wool and nylon, but I thought it'll be close enough. And it's going to be all wrapped anyway whenever Lily's wearing it, so it's not going to really matter. So that woman had that skein listed as not for sale, but I thought I'm going to reach out anyway and see if she'd be willing to part with it. And she never got back to me. So I thought, well, my only option now is to either rip this thing out or to just stop where the yarn ran out and make it work. And so I chose option B because I had Lily try it on and she agreed that it would work for her. And she said, actually, I think I like this better. And so this is much shorter. These little, what would you call these? Like the scarf portion should be so much longer than this. It's much shorter than what the pattern calls for. I'm going to try it on and show you. Okay, so this hood, the scarf portion is much longer than this. I ended it I just ended it way earlier than what the pattern had stated. And it's supposed to wrap around. Can I do this without messing with my mic? Wrap around and wrap around, and then it's supposed to have these I-cord ties on it so you can tie a cute little bow in the front. But we ran out of yarn, so that wasn't going to happen. So I had Lily try this on, and she's like, oh no, this is good. I can make this work. And so she actually likes the look of it just like this, just one side thrown over the shoulder and then the other scarf tail hanging. So she was good with it. I was happy. It's not scratchy. It's the softest yarn. Did I tell you the color name? Not that it matters because Ashley doesn't dye anymore, but it's Play That Funky Music, and it's this really pretty green. What I ended up doing, because I didn't have enough yarn, this should have actually been an I-cord the whole way around. I did not have enough yarn for that. So I ended up doing a single crochet border the whole way around this. And that's what we're going to get. So I would say that this pattern is very easy. If you're looking for a hooded scarf pattern, this pattern's super easy. Even if you're a beginner, I would say you'd be able to do it. It has one tiny section of German short rows that you literally go like 2 rows of German short rows. That's all. That's just to kind of shape this part of the back part where the top of the hood meets like the sides. Yeah, I don't think it would be a problem, and I really enjoyed it. And so I recommend the pattern for sure, but I also recommend that you start out with the right amount of yarn, the recommended amount of yarn that the pattern gives, or you're going to end up like me. But it worked out okay because it fits Lily, it's going to work. So all is well in the end, but we did have a little bit of floundering there when I realized that I was definitely playing yarn chicken and I was probably going to lose. That was my only finished object for today. So I have 3 active whips. I have so many whips actually, but I have 3 active whips that I want to talk about. And the first one, actually, you would have already seen if you watched my Craftsy commercial. If you skip through that, that's okay. I'm going to show you right now. I am actually making a little pouch, a little zippered pouch, and I'm learning. So this is all through a Steeking class that I'm currently taking, and I'm actually almost through it on Craftsy. I have already knit, of course, as you can see, the color work portion. You knit this in the round, and then you block it, and then you steek it. So I've already done the knitting and the steeking, and the next part I have to do is actually sewing in a zipper, which is probably the most intimidating part to me because I don't know that I mean, I do some basic sewing on my machine, but I don't think I don't remember ever sewing in a zipper. And I know it's not hard. It's not hard. I just got to do it. I just got to pull my machine out and do it. So I steeked this morning, and it was so easy. It's not hard to steek your knitting. Now, I will say, make sure you're using the right kind of yarn. This is 100% wool yarn. This is actually Kelbourne Woolens Scout, the same yarn as this. It's in this natural color, and then it's in the color that I used to make, oh my goodness. Let me just grab it. Hold on one second. I actually cannot find the skein of yarn, but I grabbed this. This is a Caitlin Hunter pattern, and this is the yarn I used to make this. And I don't remember the name of this pattern either, but the name of the yarn, the color came back to me. I think it's Acorn, I'm pretty sure. So I used these two to make this. Now, there is no pattern for this because you only get access to this chart if you take that Craftsy class. So I'm not going to talk about this pattern a lot. And I'll also link whatever this cardigan is because it's a beautiful cardigan. I really enjoyed knitting it. And I can't remember the name, but like I said, it's a Caitlin Hunter project. I will knit it down below. I won't knit it down below. I will list it down below in case you're interested in it. So I'm not going to talk in depth about this because I can't give you the pattern for this because there isn't one really out there unless you do the Craftsy thing. But I just wanted to say that I steeked. Yay! I did something that I was intimidated to do, and I knew that it wouldn't be that bad. I just needed to do it. And so now I just need to do the next intimidating thing to me, which is sew in a zipper, which I'm going to do. And then I will have a cute little pouch. I'll try to put a picture in here so you can see what it looks like. I did, I think I included a little B-roll of it in the commercial, but I'll try to remember to put one up here too so you can see what this looks like. And I'm going to use this just for knitting notions and stuff, just throw in a knitting bag. I thought about lining it, but I'm not going to because that's more work. And this is nice and tight because it's color work. So there's no holes for anything to really fall out of. So yeah, I'm happy with this. It's fun. This next project, I was completely inspired by Becky of a hand knit letter. I love Becky. She is just so funny. Her sense of humor is so good. I listen to her and she just has these witty things that she says, and I think I want to be like Becky. I was watching one of her recent episodes, and I don't know which one it was, but it was a recent episode, and she showed her pressed flowers kerchief, and this is a pattern by Amy Christoffers. It was released in collaboration with, I think, Pom Hobby. Hold on. Let me look at the pattern because it's Hobby. You get the pattern, so you can go to Ravelry, which is the link I'll provide, and then I think that takes you to Hobby's website, if I remember. Oh, okay, Pom Pom. I was thinking Pom Pom magazine, but no, it's Pom Pom yarn. So this pattern was written to use Pom Pom garland yarn. And I am not using that yarn. Let me show you here. This is just black and white. So I'll pop a photo up here on the screen. I actually have knit the pressed flowers hat, and I don't wear that hat very often because it's a bit too big for me, as far as it's a bit too big in like the width, but also the length. It's just a bit sloppy on me. So I don't really wear that hat. I think I might maybe try to like felt it. I did. I tried to felt it a little bit, but that didn't really go well. And so maybe if I tried to felt it a little more aggressively, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. So I've knit the pressed flowers motif before. It is mosaic knitting, and so it's not color work. You're just working with one color at a time. You're achieving the color work look by slipping stitches. And I should mention, this is a free pattern. Now, I loved Becky's colors. I had seen this pattern and I was like, but I saw her colors. And then of course, this whole like color palette stuff that I've been researching and diving into lately and realizing that, oh, I love autumn colors, but I look best when I wear summer colors. And so I looked in my yarn stash. I found these two yarns. These are both Purl Soho good wool. I don't know if the color is actually on. Okay, this is Desert Blue, which I actually bought a whole sweater's quantity of this last year. And I think good wool is on sale right now at the time of recording, but by the time I release this video, it may not be. So I have a whole sweater's quantity of the Desert Blue, and then I have this green as well, and this is called, what is this called? Olive Oil. So these are my colors, and Becky used very similar colors, which is what made me want to cast this on. And since I had colors like that in my stash, I was so excited. So let me show you what I have. I'm actually almost exactly halfway done. So I will say that I am making this larger than the pattern calls for. And I think the recommended yarn in the pattern is worsted weight. This is more of like, I think the Goodwill, it may be classified as a DK weight, but I would classify it more as a sport weight or a very light DK weight. Also, from listening to Becky talk about this pattern, I knew that if you knit it just to pattern, it was going to be quite small. And the way I want to wear it, I want to be able to tie it in the back. And so she had mentioned that she had done several more increase sections than what the pattern called for. It's really easy to adjust the size of this because you just increase or decrease the number of increase sections or decrease sections and decrease sections when you're knitting it. So I listened to Becky's wisdom and I did 2 extra increase sections because the way I want to wear this is as a bandana style cowl. I thought about just knitting it to the regular, like the regular width and maybe putting a button, but then I thought no, because I'm going to have to mess with a buttonhole, which actually isn't that big of a deal, but I thought I'm going to do it this way. So, and plus when I block this, it's going to give me even more give, and this is going to be even bigger. So let me get close up. It's not a high contrast, but that's okay. I didn't really care for a high contrast. These are the little flowers. They actually run along the whole border of the kerchief. And then you've got the green and blue. This side, which is the right side, is very blue, but if I flip it to the back, you'll see it's very green, but you don't wear it this way because you have these larger, like floaty things. So this is the front, and I am excited about this. I just finished increasing, so now I'm going to do the transition flower, which is, I'm assuming, just going to kind of level everything out, and then I will start the decreasing portion of the pattern, and so it'll make like a very tiny triangular shawl or a kerchief. And so this is very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to wearing it. Okay, my last project is a whip, an active whip. I actually did a little reel about this one, and this was I think it was last Monday. It was some day last week. It was so gross and dreary out, and I was like feeling really blah. And so I thought, I need to cast on a new project. And this was actually my very first cast on out of all of these that I've just shown you. This was the one that got me going and running. And so, like I said, I did a little reel. It's in this beautiful project bag by Amy, I think, made this. Yeah, Noble Character Knits. And it's very appropriate with the little birdies because I cast on the Songbird knits. Songbird mitts. And who wrote this pattern? Erica Huser. So Erica Huser wrote this pattern. Here's a picture of it. You've probably already heard of these. And let me show you mine. Okay, oh, all right, hold on. I'm just gonna show you what I have. So I actually don't have that much more than what I showed in my reel. I have the cuff completely done, and I just have a little bit of the colorwork part of the hand. My nails match my knitting today. That's so fun. So this entire portion from here up to the top of this, like this little strip of purple, this is all cuff. And then you start knitting the hand. So it's got a pretty long cuff, which I actually really like and appreciate. Now, the reason I haven't been knitting on this like a ton is because I've had a super busy week. I've been in wedding cookie baking mode. I've made 6 different kinds of cookies for my son's wedding that is the end of this month. And this pattern requires my concentration. I have to sit like on a place where I can lay the pattern. And what I normally do, I can't show you the chart because, yeah, anyway. What I normally do when I knit complicated color work off a chart is I use like a solid piece of paper and I cover everything up above and just leave that so whatever is down here is what I've already knit, and then the current row that I'm knitting on, and then everything that's hidden behind the piece of paper is like the stuff I have yet to knit. And that helps me to stay on track because this pattern, the back of the palm of the hand is more rhythmic. Let me see if I can show you why. Okay, see? Like you're repeating a pattern on this portion. But on this portion, you are not. There's no there's no rhythm. You have to definitely pay attention. And so I have been up baking cookies and doing other wedding stuff. So I'll like during the day. And by the time I get around to having knitting time, it's late at night. And honestly, a lot of nights I've just been reading and going to bed. I haven't even been knitting. And I'm definitely not going to work on a pattern like this. This is midday knitting when I can lay it out on a flat surface, covered up with my blank piece of paper, and really focus, which means this is going to be a long-term project. I don't foresee me having these done for this winter season. They're probably going to be fresh off the needles next fall. I don't know. We'll see. I would like to get them done. I don't like to leave projects linger for such a long time, but I'm not sure because I don't want to stress myself out about them. But they definitely do require more concentration. Now, let me tell you about this fantastic yarn. This yarn is by the Woolly Thistle, and this is an exclusive yarn of theirs. It's called Rambler. It is a fingering weight yarn. Let me show you the tag. And it is a 80-10-10. So it's 80% Dorset, 10% Corriedale, and 10% Gray Romney. There's 420 yards in a 100-gram skein. And the gauge is 28 to 32 stitches per 4 inches, depending on your needle size. This is non-superwash yarn. It's a 3-ply. So I don't know if you can. This was a bad colored. Let me get the darker. So this is a 3-ply yarn. This is an exclusive. You can only get this through the Woolly Thistle. And I have to say that a lot of my fingering weight yarn, that's my fingering weight yarn right there. That's the majority of it. It is indie dyed. It's got nylon in it because I use it for socks, and I want the nylon gives some extra durability. This does not have nylon. This is just wool, okay? I'm not sure if I would take the chance in knitting a pair of socks out of this. I don't know, because every pair of non-superwash socks I've ever knit, or I'm sorry, not non-superwash, non-nylon. So just wool. Like I've used Woolly Mammoth several times. I'm trying to think what other ones I've used that have just been wool and no nylon. They've always gotten holes super quickly for me. And so I'm not sure that I would use this particular yarn for socks. Although I've never knit it into socks, so I can't really attest to its durability for socks. But if you need a fingering weight color work project, this is perfect because it's like a nice rustic, toothier yarn that fills in the spaces really well. And that's what you want when you're doing color work. You don't, like, I've noticed with indie dyed yarn that has the nylon and the superwash merino, it often has like little tiny holes because it doesn't, the strands do not grip to one another. I hope this is making sense. This yarn is very grippy and it's very beautiful for color work, in my opinion. Now, I will provide a link down below that takes you to this yarn. It is an affiliate link. I'm working with the Woolly Thistle. I'm just part of their affiliate program. So if you would purchase through that link, I want to be completely like forthright with you. I do get a small commission. You're not charged any extra, but I would get a small commission off of that. But yeah, if you're looking for fingering weight yarn that you can use for color work, highly recommend this Rambler. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about is I want to show a new skein of yarn that I was sent by Carly of Carly Page Fiber Co. I've been following Carly actually for a long time. She has a YouTube video or a YouTube channel, and I have actually recommended her channel in the past, maybe last year or the year before. She does a lot with, she's always done a lot with natural dyes. Her mother has a pretty large natural dye garden. And so she sources a lot of her dyes and plant material from her mother's garden. This is like, I already skeined it up because I'm going to use it. I wish I wouldn't have, because you could have seen it in the, like in the hank or the skein. I've caked it. This is strawberry lemonade. And it is so beautiful. Carly sent this to me as a gift, by the way. But she did not say, please podcast about this. I am just podcasting about it because it is so stinking beautiful. So I wanted to make you guys aware of it because she just recently opened up her own yarn dyeing shop. I don't know how much she actually has left. I think her grand opening was last Friday. And I don't know how much she actually has left as far as stock, but you should go check her out. I don't know how this is naturally dyed. Those colors are so beautiful and vibrant. I'm actually really curious. Does it say? I was looking to see if it says what materials it's dyed from. But this is 100% Blue Face Leicester, and it has 369 yards per 100 grams. So that means it's a little bit plumper than like a normal fingering weight. But because it does not have any nylon, as I just said with the Rambler yarn, I'm afraid to knit socks out of this because I'm afraid that I'll get holes quickly because I have not had a good track record with non-nylon sock yarn. So what can I knit with this? I need to look back at I have a podcast episode. I did a pattern roundup of patterns to use, like single skein patterns. I need to take a look back at that. Actually, I want to make a brand new video, a brand new one for like another pattern roundup, but I need to look back at that and see. I thought about maybe making a Sophie scarf, or if I was going to make socks, hold it with mohair, but I've never made mohair socks. Have you? I don't know how practical those are. Like, I don't know. And plus this is so pretty. I don't know if I want to put it on my feet. I don't know. I'm still thinking about this. I almost cast it on socks with mohair last week, and then I almost cast it on a Sophie scarf because I do like that pattern, and I feel like this would work for that. But I haven't decided for sure yet. So still thinking on this. But if you are so inclined, go check out Carly's online shop. Okay, and that is it for today's podcast episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. I wanted to say a quick thank you to my Ko-Fi supporters. I appreciate your support, your financial support through that platform so much. And thank you for all of my subscribers. If you like this video and my other videos and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And also, if you wouldn't mind giving me a quick thumbs up down below, that would be fantastic as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you all next time.